I have a question for you. Which species of villager is the worst? And before you say mouse, I have some things and thoughts for you to consider. I'm EJ, you're you, this is my channel, and I have something to say. This goes hand in hand with which villager species is the best. Because let's not just bring negativity into the space, mama, let's bring some positivity too. To make a choice about which villager species is the best, you must make a choice about which villager species is the worst. They go hand in hand. So let's think about which villager species is the worst. Obviously, mice could be the worst. Why? Because they're fleaovers, they're carriers of disease, and they just look freaking creepy. Look at their small faces and their giant ears. I don't like them. They look weird, and basically none of them are cute, except for maybe, what is that one? Dora, I think her name is? I don't know, she's fine. But otherwise, I don't like any of them. I don't like them. And as we all know, one of my least favorite villagers, Chatter, is a mouse. But it's important to note that my least favorite villager is not Chatter, it's Hippo. So does that mean that hippos, the worst species? Now, I don't think we should cast an entire species out just because of one bad apple, but let me tell you, there's not a lot of good apples, especially when you look at people like Harry. I rest my case. You could also perhaps say gorillas, but I think that people who say that gorillas are the worst species are rude. I think there are a lot of really good gorilla villagers, and be prepared to get angry, and I know that these are gonna ruffle some feathers, but get over it. Rilla, Boone, Hans, Rocket. There are so many good gorilla villagers, and y'all just cannot appreciate them. And that's okay. But let's consider, a lot of people love some mice villagers. Some people even love some hippo villagers, which I find hard to believe, but you know, they do. So maybe we're being too hard on mice and too hard on hippos. And let's remember, a sign of good art is not necessarily whether you like it or whether everyone likes it, but whether it invokes a strong response. And maybe the fact that mice invoke such a strong negative response and hippos invoke such a strong negative response makes them not the worst, but actually like fine. They're fine. They're fine. So maybe the worst villager species is one that's like, you know, you're just kind of neutral about. You're just kind of like, meh, they're fine. Where seeing them invokes not necessarily a response of, but a response of, okay. And if that is our criteria, I would argue that the worst species in Animal Crossing is the octopus. And it pains me to say because octopus are actually one of my favorite animals, but these villagers are just so blah. Like they're just nothing and there's so few of them. I could probably also say that cows could invoke the same response, but you got Rodeo and he really saves the whole bunch. Octopus, there's 3 of them. Once you see all 3 of them, it's like, okay, Zucker's got a pretty cool design, I guess, but like Octavian's just kind of red and angry, and Marina is cute, but just kind of blah. And once you go on a single villager hunt, you see them every other island. It just gets sick of them. It outweighs any good characteristics they have, making them, in my mind, extremely neutral, and in that case, boring. And in that case, the worst villager species. But what villager species is the best, you might be asking? Well, I'll tell you, we could go the route that the best villager species is the one that invokes a response. Then, if we're saying that the worst villager species is the one that invokes no response. But I don't think that that's exactly the point. I think that the best villager species is a one that has something for everybody. And it is so clear and obvious to me what the best villager species is, and that is so clearly the cats. Now, you could say, are you just going by which has the most and which has the least, and that's the worst? No, I'm not. If you look at the cat lineup, there is something for everyone. There is a cat villager that fits just about every theme. There is a cat villager for every season, for every taste, for every flavor. And no, I'm not just saying that because I have both a cat and Tangy. Listen. I mean, could you blame me if... The cat villagers are consistently the most sought after, the most hated, and the most loved. Every single cat villager has a design, has a point of view. I mean, look at Tangy, look at Tabby, Raymond. All of these villagers that you bring up are going to invoke a response in people. You have Anka, for Christ's sake. The cat villagers are the most versatile, and that, in my mind, makes them the best. What do you feel? What's the worst species? What's the best species? Tell me why I'm wrong in the comments. But remember, even if I'm wrong, I'm right. So, that's it. Bye, guys!